In Germany, tributes started pouring as residents gathered in front of the church close to the Magdeburg Christmas market on Sunday to show their sympathy with the victims and their relatives of the attack that killed 5 and injured scores. A man suspected of ploughing a car through crowds at the market faces multiple charges of murder and attempted murder. Friday evening's attack in the central city of Magdeburg shocked the country and stirred up tensions over the charged issue of immigration. All right, now to discuss more on this, I'm joined by Lars Holter, who's with us joining from Deutsche Welle, and he's joining us from Berlin, an hour from where all this happened. Lars, what can you tell us about this market and what exactly happened over there?
Thanks for having me. Well, first of all, I should probably clarify what exactly a Christmas market is. They're very popular here in Germany and the rest of Europe. It is a much smaller phenomenon in the rest of the world, if at all. So the month leading up to Christmas, pretty much every town here has their little market where often arts and handicrafts are sold, wood carvings, knitted or felted clothing, home decorations, often, of course, with a Christmassy theme. There's also food and Glühwein, that's a spiced hot wine. It is very good, and people usually just gather at these markets, not just to shop, but to celebrate the season. Now, this market in Magdeburg was in full swing with hundreds of people in attendance when a man drove his car right into the crowd. It's a tight crowd, of course, very little room to jump aside. So the man plowed down dozens of people who didn't have a chance to react. 5 are dead, around 20 are badly injured. It's a horrible attack, and it's reminiscent of a similar attack in Berlin 8 years ago when a terrorist also drove a truck into the crowd at a Christmas market here. Of course, this is a constant reminder that terror attacks, large and small, can happen anywhere at any time.
Also, Lars, we would like to understand that how was this attack even possible, given that such mass events really tend to be protected?
That's the big question, of course. Ever since that Berlin attack 5 years ago, Christmas markets have been fortified. There's always huge concrete barriers surrounding the markets. And at first it bothered people because it's hard to not let these protective measures ruin your Christmas spirit. But I guess everyone got used to it, and sometimes they're disguising the concrete barriers to make them look a bit nicer and almost decorative. However, now in Magdeburg, those barriers were placed so far apart that cars actually fit through them. The local authorities said that was on purpose so that emergency vehicles could get in and out if necessary, but that's obviously a big mistake. Usually the barriers are placed with maybe a police car or something of the like in the middle, so they can be opened and closed like gates. Now it's come out that the police really used their cars in a wrong formation, making this attack now even more tragic because it very much looks like this could have been prevented.
And what do we know about the attacker, Lars? Who is exactly he, and what made him to do this, Lars?
Incredibly interesting point. The attacker is a 50-year-old man named Taleb al-Abdul Mohsen. He's a Saudi citizen who's lived in Germany since 2006. In fact, he lived in a town nearby and worked in a hospital there as a doctor. Now, similar terror attacks in the past have often had an Islamistic background, were tied to the so-called Islamic State or similar groups. And here, the attacker is apparently an Islam critic. Some have called him an Islam hater. He has often protested about the regime in Saudi Arabia, the treatment of women there, and he has complained about Germany accepting more Saudis and generally Muslims into the country. He has made threats before when he was in contact with authorities. He has been in court before, so he was already seen as potentially dangerous. However, apparently at a level where police could not have yet legally intervened. The attacker was apprehended right after the attack. He's in jail now, and we will certainly find out more about what made him commit this horrible attack.
All right. Thank you so much, Lars, for joining us and bringing us the latest on this developing story.